Okay, go ahead and say, Audrey, say your first and last name a couple times.
Audrey Bell-Kearney.
Audrey Bell-Kearney. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Audrey Bell-Kearney. Thanks. Audrey, let me start again. Audrey, welcome to Timelines.
Hey, thanks so much, Bill, for having me.
Hey, we're going to jump right into this. First 10 minutes is going to be about your business, and then we're going to go about you and your life and success principles, and finally your commercial. But I'm looking at your website, which I absolutely like. It's interactive. It's an amazing website. It's a powerful website, and that's talkingbusinesswithaudrey.com. And tell me about that camera that's on that picture.
Well, I would like to say that I own that beautiful camera, but that's the handiwork of a great graphic artist who actually took a picture of me from a photo shoot and dropped me behind the desk there in front of that camera.
That camera, like the shadow and everything, that looks so real. Everything there looks just so much there in your colors. And then down below, you've got, another graphic coming in with a camera in the front. And it's gorgeous. You do some amazing things. And we had a little pre-talk, and you're a serial entrepreneur, and just an amazing serial entrepreneur as you've evolved. But looks like you've really arrived. Now you're coming to us from Atlanta, Georgia.
I am. I'm in the metro area here in Atlanta. Beautiful 70-degree day weather today. So I am.
You certainly don't sound like you're from Atlanta, though.
I was actually born in Georgia, raised in New Jersey, and raised in Newark. Grew up there, and then moved on to Maplewood, where I lived before I moved back to Georgia. I'm original Georgia peach.
You got all those different East Coast mantras and accents, so you can probably change your accent a little bit as you move up and down 95.
I it's a little bit hard for me. My daughter, she's an actress. She can be anybody you want her to be. I'm pretty much Audrey all the time. This is it.
Okay. So tell us more about this website and your business. It's an amazing website. And tell us what you're doing now with you're on Roku, and we're going to ask how you got on Roku because people want to know.
Okay.
So what are you doing now with your business?
Right now, I launched a company back in 2013 called Hertube Media Network. And I've been in media for 13 years, going on 14 years now. I started in media because I had a newspaper called Women in Business Today. Someone read the newspaper, asked me to be the host on their radio, asked me to be a guest on their radio show, loved me so much, asked me to co-host the show with them. So I did that for the next year. My husband works in pharmaceutical. We had to move to North Carolina. And because I loved doing my show on my newspaper, when I got to North Carolina, I kind of was driving by a TV station and said, you know what, let me turn around and go back. And I turned around and went back, and I pitched my show, Women in Business Today, to the TV network, and they loved it. And I had a TV show. And so I've been in media now for 13 years. So this whole industry with online TV and smart television and set-top boxes and OTT and IPTV was an industry that I started looking at back in 2003. I knew it was going to go somewhere. I wasn't exactly sure where it was going to go, but I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And it kind of started out in the New York area. There's a lot of television and publishers in New York. And I remember going to a bunch of meetups there. On 26th Street, they were talking about online video. It was one company called Revisions 3. They started out doing a nice set of shows. Then My Damn Channel. So I kind of was like following them, watching what they were doing. By the time I got down here to Georgia, I knew I wanted to be in that space, and I saw a space for me in that space because of this whole film industry. So now what I do is I produce a talk show called Talk Business with Audrey, where I interview movers and shakers in the business world, business experts, media experts, anybody who writes books. And that's what I do. That's what I love doing. And so that's how I got to this point where I am right now. Hertube, on the other hand, is our video distribution platform. And what we do is we distribute content to an audience of predominantly women. On Roku, which is a great platform. If you have a show and you want to get on Roku, that's a great platform. They're a little bit crowded right now because the industry is growing so quick, but we're on Roku. We have about 520 videos on Roku from women around the world who produce their own show, and we distribute it for them. We're on smart televisions in 52 countries around the world, which is exciting, and we're on mobile apps.
That's amazing. Now, I love Roku. When I got back I went back in active duty. A lot of folks know the story. When I got back in December 2012, we cut the cord for TV. We went strictly on internet in our household, and it forced us into different things. And Roku was one of the first things that we bought, and we've grown with Roku. We use Roku all the time. Now it's getting really amazing.
Yes.
CBS News now is just, their streaming is just second to none. I think they're beating CNN, folks.
It's it's a great platform, you know, and it is a cord cutter, and they are the front runners. Amazon came out with the Fire Stick in 2014, so now they have a little bit of competition. Apple has always been around, but Apple is so protective of their platform. Well, they had been at that point. They were so protective. They didn't allow a lot of content owners to be on their platform.
Right.
Roku opened it up to everybody, and so once I realized that I had a Roku, and I said, well, how do I get on this Roku thing? And I learned how to get on there. It's been amazing. So now we're in the process of just expanding across other platforms. Like, you know, Apple is opening up the door now where you can put your show on Apple TV, which is really cool. So that's where we're going next. That's our next goal.
That's that Apple closed shop. We have the Apples and the Rokus because we have transitioned to Mac or Apple products. Our computers, we still use the PCs, but we like, you know, the mobility of the laptops and the strength of the service. But we flip them up and can watch on TV through the Apple. You know, just it's kind of nice. You're watching your Apple, you sort of push it up on the TV. It works pretty well. But like you said, Roku has so much more content, and they've done a great job of keeping the price down and the quality of their little hardware to produce. So how do you get on Roku?
Well, you have to be able to figure out what are you going to do on Roku. When I started, I knew that I was going to build a network that was for women, bringing content that women love and cared about. So that was the first thing. I knew I wanted to do that. The other thing I had to figure out was, where was I going to get all this content? I wasn't going to produce it myself. So once I figured out that I could reach out to women who wanted to be on television, that worked out perfectly. So these women produce their shows, they give them to us, we put them on there because they want exposure, because their whole thing is, I want people to know who I am. So we put their shows on there in distributed form. Now, here's the tricky part. Roku, you can have someone build you a Roku channel, and there are a lot of people out there would do it for you. There's a lot of open source software out there to do it. It's going to cost you a little bit of money. So let's take, for instance, I talked to one company. They told me we could build your platform right down here in Atlanta. We can build your platform out for you, but it's going to cost you $10,000. Well, I didn't have $10,000 to pay for a Roku channel, so I had to scrap that idea. Then I found another company and said, "Hey, listen, you could do it yourself, but it's going to cost you $2,000, and then it's going to cost you $500 a month to maintain." Well, that didn't make sense either. So I went on and I kept looking, and finally I found this one little small company out of Pennsylvania who has this really great software. And if you sit down and you take the time to actually learn how to use the software, you can do it yourself. I pay $49 a month.
Can you tell us what that software is?
Instant TV channel.
Instant TV channel.
Yep.
Instant TV channel.
Very nice guy right out of Pennsylvania. He has, it doesn't look like much, but if you can sit there and read through the tutorials, you can build your own channel for Roku. Now, here's the thing about Roku at this point. Because people have discovered it, and now it's overcrowded. When I got on Roku, it was only 1,000 channels on Roku. Now there are 7,000 channels, and I've been on for 2.5 years.
How many channels? 7,000.
When I got on, it was 1,000. Now it's 7,000 because people are realizing, hey, listen, I'm creating these videos. I got all this content. I can put it out there for the world to see. So Roku is if you're on a Roku platform, you're in the Republic of Ireland, you're in the UK, you're in the US, and you're in Canada, which gives you an international platform. But I didn't stop there. That's where I started.
I love this. So you got ahead of the power curve. I mean, it's always good to be first in something that's going to succeed like Roku. So what year was that again?
That was 2013, the end of 2013, wow. October to be exact.
So it was just your instinct to go that way.
I had a Roku and I loved it. So I was like, because I'm not a big TV person, I like documentaries. And so when I had Netflix, and I only way I could get it was through my Roku. That's what I thought, to watch on television. And so when I looked at that, and I'm seeing like other little shows on there, like shows that I could produce myself, something that I had produced. I said, you know what, let me figure out how to get on this thing. And I did my research and I did a lot of due diligence, and I found the right company. And it's, when you go to Instant TV channel, it's not the most glamorous site, but it gets the job done, and it's very inexpensive.
Now, when you first were talking to me in the pre-workup and I looked at your site, I had watched a biography because I like biography too. Mm-hmm. And you said, man, she reminds me of Madam Walker. I don't know if you heard of Madam Walker.
Of course, she's on my wall. She's one of my, if I had the one person I would want to meet, I would want to meet Madam C.J. Walker, because she was a woman who she was the first, let me just say this, she was the first female millionaire in the United States. A lot of people think she was the first African American millionaire. She was actually the first female millionaire.
Right.
And she invented a hair industry for African American women that is still exists today. Because if you look around, we have more hair salons than pretty much any culture out there, and she pioneered that whole industry.
Her story is just amazing, and you're 100% correct. It's not she's the first female millionaire, self-made female millionaire in America.
That's right.
An entrepreneur to the nth degree.
Yes.
She just had the instinct in her. Anyone who wants to become an entrepreneur needs to study what she did, because she came from like a slave, a poor slave family that evolved in an area that you'd never, and she just evolved. And then she started, did she start initially? I know she did the hair products and all that, but and she had products too. She sold and developed. Was it all hair, or was it some perfume too? No, she had mostly hair. What she did was she was her parents died. She was orphaned, so she had to go and live with her sisters and her brothers. And while she was there, she was a washerwoman. She used to wash clothes and stuff. And she had a dream because her hair was falling out. And she had a dream of how to make her hair grow back. And in that dream, one of the products that she needed had to come from Africa. So some kind of way she managed to send for that product in Africa, bring it back, put it into a product line, and invented this whole line of hair products that make African-American women hair grow. And so that's how she started. But what she did was she actually started one of the first direct marketing companies, because she brought on all these women who were wanted to be in business for themselves, and they were selling these hair products to African-American women who wanted to make their hair grow. She had what was called a Walker system. She had a school that she trained them how to do the business. She had a manufacturing company that produced the products. So she was a really, really great entrepreneur. She is one of the people that I would love to have met. That's good. That's a good story. And it's nice that we sort of deviated. And I did not talk to you about that story in the workup. I just was thinking of that biography in you, because I love biography like you do. That's I think a characteristic of an entrepreneur. They'll go out and watch biography. Oh yeah, I love them. I watched the I don't know if you ever had a chance to see this one, The Men Who Built America. I have watched parts. I love it. I watched the whole thing, and I just thought it was amazing. I watched it twice to be exact, and it's like 8 episodes, so I watched it twice. I was away for over 5 years on a overseas project between Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and overseas. And I have a big chunk of my life that was gone. When I came back for 2 months, I just watched YouTube. I said, this is fascinating, because it really wasn't there 5 years earlier to the extent where I could watch biography. I could watch all these shows on demand. And I just found another show on demand. I could just watch YouTube hooked up to my TV when I want to watch it, just like Roku. That's right. That's right. Good. And that's the good thing about this industry. Like right now, people who have smart televisions, and for those who don't know what a smart TV is, it's a television that's internet ready. And if you have like an LG, you can go to the TV app store in your LG and pretty much download any app you want. That's what's giving us another big jump. Like right now, we're in 52 countries around the world. We signed a contract back in, I think it was September of last year, with a company in Germany that put us on about 8 different platforms, including set-top boxes and smart televisions in Germany, Australia, Slovakia, some places I can't even pronounce, but it's 52 different countries. And what that does is that really opens you up to this whole world of people who would never have seen you because of these smart televisions. Amazing. Hey, we're going to go to a break. We're going to come back with some success principles and a little bit about your life and how you started. And this is fascinating. I really want to have you back on this show to go more detail about your business, though, because you have a fascinating business. We didn't even get into your doll business, which you just have another product shooting up. Pull that doll up. We go to break. You've had that for 19 years, this business, right? Creating this doll business. And you are a serial entrepreneur. We can't go into it all now, but it's amazing business. Yes. Thank you. Audrey, as we go into your life and success principles, we have one follow-up question. So how did you find this instant TV channel to get on Roku? What was your process? Well, what I did, Bill, I actually went to the Roku website, and under there they have a page just for developers. Now here I am. I can tell you I'm not a developer. I don't know how to code from a can of paint, but there's a lot of questions there about how to get my stuff on Roku. So I went down this list of questions, and when I got down, I looked at all the companies that were producing channels for Roku, and I called some of them. And one company told me like $10,000. One told me $3,000. So it was like these huge numbers.
Well, there was one little company down at the bottom that was Instant TV Channel, and I clicked on their site, and it looks very technical when you go there. It's kind of scary almost, because it's a site that doesn't have all the bells and whistles. It's just pretty bare bone. This is what we do, and this is how you do it. And I sat there and I studied the site for about 3 months, and I built the channel from that site.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. We'll talk after the show because, we're in the communications development side and trending side. So very, very good. Okay. You're one of the DIYs. Just go and do it.
Yes. Yes, that's me. Whenever I have an idea, I learned how to do all the stuff on my own, PR and marketing. When I first started the dial company, I must have gotten about $50,000 worth of PR just doing things like this, talking to people. I was on the John Walsh show from that was an international national show. I was on the Money Matters with Mary Caracoli because I had to learn PR. I had to learn how to get my name out there. So I learned PR by reading a book called The Personal Touch that was published back in 1997 by Terry Williams, who was the PR publicist for Eddie Murphy and Janet Jackson. She wrote this really great book. It became my PR Bible, and I learned all I needed to learn about PR through that book and was able to get on all these international magazines and TV shows.
Timing and location is important too. You live in northern New Jersey, so you could get up to Manhattan and New York, just go, and you don't have to live there. You can just go there and come back. Right. And you meet some people there too. You made some contacts. Yes,
I made some great contacts there. That's where the whole internet TV was launched out of Manhattan on 26th Street. That the industry took place. They call it Silicon Alley.
Right.
They had Silicon Valley for all the tech stuff, Silicon Alley for all the IPTV, OTTV, all the internet TV stuff was launched out of Manhattan.
In Manhattan, New York Island Manhattan is an amazing place.
Yes.
And the problem is I wouldn't want to live there because of the expense.
Yes. I just heard that it's $18 to cross the bridge from New Jersey. I was like, oh my God, they're killing people.
My son went to we went on visit the Merchant Marine. I remember going over the bridge a couple of times with them. That it's expensive. That Frog's Neck, is it $5 each way back then? That was like 7 or 8 years ago.
Well, now it's like it's 18. They tell me. I was like, $18? Like, yeah. So it's gone up.
Hey, going on. Let's go into your life and success principles. The first one is be true to yourself. What does that mean?
Be true to yourself. I know this term has been used so much and it's probably worn out, but authenticity, that's what it means. There's been so many times when I was looking for something to do and I wanted to just jump on any bandwagon because there was a lot of money to be made. I was a single parent, and my daughter, I had to support her. So anytime somebody say make some money, I was like, let me do that. But by the time I took a look at it, it wasn't something that touched me here. It wasn't a heart business. So being true to yourself means following your dream, not somebody else's, your dream, not chasing the money, but chasing your dream, the one that makes you stay up at night, the one that wakes you up in the morning. That's true to yourself to me.
I was going to ask you, how much do you sleep?
I took Saturday off and I didn't do anything, but I got to say, I watched this documentary series about these people, 25 years old out in Colorado, who started a weed business. So I don't know if I really took time off, but I didn't do any work.
A lot of people are doing that now.
Ooh, they made a lot of money.
Yeah, I have a client that actually is working in that business. So she's starting to build up her business and looking at the background, and she's very entrepreneurial. Know your business.
Know your business, know your industry. You need to know that because people are going to ask you questions. I had a woman that I was going to interview a few weeks ago. And Bill, when I tell you this woman canceled her interview with me because I didn't send her interview questions. So I said to her, I never send interview questions because if you know your business, I don't need to send you questions to prep you for what you supposedly know. So you want to be able to know your business. I interviewed Mark Victor Hansen 3 times, right? And I said to him, why did you do my little show on the East Coast at 4:30 in the morning on the West Coast? He said, because you never know who I can reach. She turned out an interview. She never knew who she could reach, but she did that because she wasn't really sure about her business. So you give up some great opportunities when you don't know your stuff.
Right. There's opportunity in everything. Like this is not a huge podcast. It's a netcast. It goes YouTube, Roku. We'll have a handful of people, 12 people come by on Blab so far. And it's not huge, but it's not, but you're going to get probably 400 to 500 people listening to the podcast over the next 12 months.
Right.
We'll get 100 so right away. And then it'll build a couple hundred, but and it'll be their evergreen. So you never know when somebody stumbles and they want to find you to be on your show or Roku and we didn't really talk about how you monetize that. That's for another show. We'll definitely have you back.
And that's an interesting story. So bring me back for that one.
I want to have you back right away. So work with integrity.
Do what you say you're going to do and mean what you do what you say you're going to do. That's integrity. And mean what you say you mean, because a lot of times you tell people you're going to do something and you don't do it, that's a scar on you and your brand. I work with integrity. I'm a fair person. A lot of people want to come and work with me. They want to work for free sometimes. Me personally, that's cool sometimes, but I really like to be in a position where I can reward people for what they do. So I consider myself to be a person of high integrity. I'm going to say what I'm going to do. And if I'm not going to do something, I'm going to say that too. I'm going to tell you no with a lot of love. And I'm going to say yes with a lot of love. And you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to say no to some things. There have been clients that wanted to work with me, Bill. And, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. So a lot of times we need money coming from wherever it can come from. But when you know that you can't really help that person, why take their money? That's integrity.
I love it. I love it.
That's integrity.
Value your relationships.
Oh, huge. Now that may be the biggest thing ever. I've built some really great relationships over the years, and I'm blessed for that. God has blessed me with some really wonderful people. And there have been people that have been by my side for the last 18, 19 years. And this has not been easy. And I could not have gotten through a lot of the things I've gotten through without these people. People that stepped up and say, you know what? I know what you stand for. I know what you're doing. I want to be there with you. Though that's really important. Not only from a personal perspective, but also from a business perspective, because when you have these great relationships in business, you can grow a lot quicker. You can get your word out a lot quicker. So that's really important.
Again, we're not going to go on this show, but I'm sure as an entrepreneur that many years, there are times when you look ahead and you say, I don't have enough money to make it. How does it shows up? And you have a relationship or somebody comes in. Yes.
And for me, it's been my husband. My husband has been my number one supporter. I'm going into my 13th year of marriage right now, this year, June 7th. And he and my mom have been there right from the beginning. Like, he met me trying to be an investor into the doll company. And I keep telling him, you never made the investment, you know. And he said, I was the investment. So he's been right by my side the whole time. And my mom and my brother, like those three people right there, they got me through the really, really rough times. And, you know, whenever I need to do something and the finances haven't come through right now, I'm on a net 60 with somebody and I'm waiting for the payment to come in. Yeah. I can go to them and say, hey, and this is where I go to them. Hey, I need a small business loan. And, you know, they know what that means. So they've never said no to me, and they've always been there to support me and back up the dream.
Are you serious? You met your husband through your doll company?
Yes, I met him. My friend was marrying his friend, and he said to me, I just got some money from my 401k or something. I want to invest. I want to talk about investing in your company. And I said, okay. So we met for an investment meeting and we hit it off. We became really good friends. And I tell him all the time, you never made the investment, you know. He's like, well, you know, I bought you the ring. That was the investment.
Oh, that's a good story. That's a good story. So keep faith and stay focused. Oh, those are two good things.
Let me tell you, by faith, I've gotten here this far and with a lot of focus. And there have been times when I started HerTube, I was kind of floundering a little bit, right? And I had to go back and ask myself, what did I do with the doll company that I had not done with the media company? Well, when I first started doll company, I was focused on one thing. And I say that laughingly because I had a coach, and my coach said to me when I stopped doing the doll company, Audrey, your site is beautiful, but you need to pick one thing. And here I am thinking I'm Superwoman. I could do all these things. So I wouldn't listen to my coach. And eventually I had to step back and say, what did I do with the doll company that I'm not doing now with HerTube? Well, I wasn't all over the place. I had one focus. It was a doll. So you have to be focused. And I know as entrepreneurs, we figure we can do everything, but you need to pick that one thing and focus on. And then you can expand out to other things.
And that's the challenge. I have that same challenge. I love to do everything.
Right.
There's just not enough time. Hey, hold the doll up again. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can go on to timelinesofsuccess.com and you can see the doll right now on the YouTube or the Blab. Pull it back a little bit. That's a beautiful doll. That's a great doll. That's your new doll. That's just coming out. That's your new line. And that business has been around for how many years?
She started in 1999. She's turning 18 next year. So this particular outfit is the same dress that my daughter wore to her prom when she was 18 years old. And so I love that dress so much. So I had it made for the doll. So this edition right here is available next. Well, you can pre-order her now, but she won't be available to June of 2017.
Those are some of my favorite colors, the black and the red and the contrast. Those are good colors. I love red. That sash, yeah.
Hong Kong, you know.
And the belt, got the bling, a little bit of bling on the belt.
A little bit of bling. She got a little bling.
Do you have a bling doll? Yeah, you should bling. My daughters are in gymnastics, so we have a lot of bling.
You know what's funny, Bill, about this doll? I read an article probably about 2 weeks ago where Mattel released a new line of dolls that had curves. And I said to myself, man, my doll was 18 years old. She had curves way before now. So that's kind of funny.
Not Barbie.
Right. So Barbie now. So now they have a short one that has curves. They got a tall one that has curves. Well, she's 5. She's 8. She's 8. She's 11 inches and she's always had curves.
What's her name?
Her name is Deja.
Deja. Okay. Deja. Competition for Barbie.
Yeah, she's been out for a minute. So Barbie's been out about 50 years. So, every year we celebrate a milestone. So next year she's turning 18, and then we'll celebrate again when she turns 21.
She's got to freeze at some point. 21. Sometimes she's got to freeze her age.
Right. She's like Barbie. Like Barbie didn't change. She's 55 years old. She looks the same.
Yeah, Barbie's aged amazingly well.
Yes. Right.
So anyway, last one. If you're keeping the faith, stay focused. I think you hit them all. We went a little bit long. Your book. Everyone, guess what her book might be. Guess what Audrey's book might be. I'm just going to tell you. I would say that this was your book, and this is the book you put down, Think and Grow Rich.
One of my favorite books. I have that in paperback, and I have it on audio. And, for me, I listen to it all the time because it always reinforces the things that I should be doing. So that's one of my favorite books of all times. And I would tell any entrepreneur out there, if you think you need to create a mindset for success, pick that book up and read it. And if you're not a reader, get the audio.
Just listen to it, yeah. Or do both.
Do both. I do both.
I listen to books first now, and then if I like it, I'll buy the book and highlight it.
Right.
Very good. We're going to go to another break and then come back with your contact information and your little commercial and one last question.
Okay.
Okay, Audrey, coming back for the last 5 minutes, we first want to know, how can the listener get a hold of you and find you?
They can reach me at Audrey at hertube, .tv, and I'm going to type it in here for you.
Audrey at hertubetv.com.
No, hertube.tv.
Audrey at hertube.tv.
TV.
Got it. Those are expensive domains. Those cost like $30 and $40 a year to.
Yes. And I suggest with anybody who's going to be in this industry, you want to get your .tv because it really sets you apart from anybody else that's doing this kind of stuff. Okay,
very good, very good. And any other contacts you want? People get a hold of you?
If you want to call me, 770. I'm going to put that here. 765.
So what
that's
is
the
again?
Office line? 770-765-7315. Excuse me.
770. 765 770-765-7315. Very, very good. So we're going to ask you to do a little commercial. What can the listener do for you? What do you need from us?
Well, right now we're looking for, we have several different platforms for HerTube. So my company is HerTube Media Network. I produce a weekly show. I interview 2 or 3 people a week to be on my show. And what happens is once we take that show and edit it, it is distributed across our whole platform. So it gives the entrepreneur and business owner an opportunity to get more visibility for what they're already doing beyond YouTube and some other platforms. But what we're doing now, we have a new platform that is pay-per-view and subscription-based. We're looking for people who have trainings that want to put a training on our platform. It's free to put the training on the platform, on our pay-per-view platform, and we split the revenues 50-50. So if you have a training, if you're good at podcasting, you want to do a 30-minute training. If you're good at Facebook marketing, you want to do a 30-minute training. We just ask that it's an exclusive training just on HerTube, and we're going to put it out there, and we're going to market that, and it's a 50-50 split between you and I.
I love it. I love it. We're sort of in that business of creating online education and training, but we're the backside of production and producing it from ScreenFlow, things of that nature as we expand.
I wish you were here with me because that's one of the things that we have. Even though it's a lot of people here, we want really good people that we can always go to and say, hey, listen, we got a training we want to produce. Yeah. The great thing about producing this content, we want to empower women around the world. So we want them to see other women who are producing, other women who have success stories to tell. We want to put that out there for them to see because we are in 52 countries. And what I found, I said to myself, man, how are we helping these people in all these countries if they don't speak English? Well, I was told that because we are speaking English, they're learning English. Mm-hmm. That led me to believe that they can learn anything that we're teaching them. So we have a whole bunch of people teaching on our platform. That's a great way to empower women, and not just women, but women and men around the world in different countries.
Well, you know what we're looking at, and we're sidetracking, and Jonathan is listening in too. By the way, Jonathan, big cities like Atlanta are great places to start and run a business with more talent to draw from, or Denver, Colorado. We're in Reno, Nevada, so we have to run over the hill into California. And Reno is not known as the high-tech mecca of production and TV, that's for sure. But we're looking at even taking a film crew or finding a film crew in your area, going in filming, then just doing an interview, extract it, then put the training together, taking the film, the interview, things of that nature, and evergreen, things of that nature. I think that's the future. Hey, we're sidetracking. I do have 2 last questions.
Okay.
You do a lot of DIY.
Yes.
How did you find somebody to outsource your graphics to, which are so important? You've got great graphics.
There's a company out there called Fiverr, and someone turned me on to this company about 2 years ago. I'm not a graphic artist by no stretch of the imagination, but there are some really, really great people on Fiverr. If you give them your idea and your concept, they can put it together for you. That's where I get all my graphics from. Outside of little small things where I can just drop in some words, I go to Fiverr and I find somebody and I say, hey, listen, this is what I need. They've done infographics for me. They've also done intros and outros for my shows. They've done explainer videos for me for different things. So it's a great, great platform and very inexpensive. It starts at $5. Now they've grown up some, so you can start at $5. I think the most I've ever spent on Fiverr was like $40, but that was because I needed some commercial license to use the material that I was buying, and plus the upfront fee that you have to pay. But it's very inexpensive. But there's some people that do some really good work over there.
Very good. Now the last question, very important question, especially since you're on the East Coast, up and down the East Coast, lived in all different places. So what is your favorite food?
Crab legs.
Oh, you definitely New Jersey influence there.
Crab legs. It's so funny because I'm on this health kick right now. So today I just had a protein shake and a banana, but I love crab legs. So I was telling my husband and my daughter and everybody, like, yeah, I'm going to give crab legs up for about a month. And they was like, yeah, right. So I said, put the money on the wood. You don't put the money on the wood. Bet me. Nobody wanted to bet me, but everybody says, nah, it's not going to happen.
So crab legs with butter, that would be the protein diet.
Yeah, butter though. It's the butter part, Bill.
No, but you can do that. Crab legs and butter, that's protein. That's at work. That's a different topic. We'll have you back on that too.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Well, thank you, Audrey. Stay on the line. We're going to open it up for questions from folks in the Blab side. And of course, this will be on YouTube after about 30, 35 minutes. You can go up on YouTube and catch the rest of the show. And we'll stay on for the next 20 minutes if it's okay with you.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much.
Okay, it is open. We got a lot of great people here watching. If anybody wants to come up and just say hi and on the show, Maya is going to be doing a show here shortly. I know she signed up. Maya, thank you for coming up today and watching. Looking forward to her show. And also, we had a question from Charles CH, and I'll get back with him. People come in and out of Blab, and Charles asked, "What's that show hosted on Saturday, Bill? Do you have a show on Saturday? I know my show." We have WP Tonic with Jonathan Denwood. It's all about WordPress. This whole month, we're going to be talking about business owners and WordPress. So maybe you could come on for part of it, and we give you a little hint, maybe where other places you could go with WordPress, things we can help you with your show or your business. So
cool.
It's really good. So let's see if there are any other questions. I really wasn't paying attention to questions. If anybody had questions, I saw one question here. Did I put just host? But that's a fascinating story. This Roku. I'm looking forward to going down in Roku. I've got so many tabs open right now. How do we tell us again how we find your show in Roku? We got to go to Talking Business with Audrey.
You go to Special Interest.
Let me do Talking Interest.
Special Interest, and you go to HerTube TV.
Special Interest
on Roku and HerTube. HerTube TV.
So let me go to your page. Talking. I've got like too many tabs.
So Talk Business with Audrey is just my talk show. And then HerTube is actually what you're going to find on Roku and the smart TVs and on mobile apps.
So from Talking Business is a pretty good layout.
Yeah, that show I started because I like you, I love doing this part. So I've been doing this for 13 years. And so once I developed HerTube, I said, okay, now I need to get back to the other part that I love, which is talking to entrepreneurs and business owners. So I launched a show in January. And like you, I got a ton of content that I have to go get edited and put it out. So that's where I am with that.
That's some good graphics on that page. Now, on this smart TV, is that HerTube? Is that just, where's that? That's coming from YouTube. Okay. So you copy it down on YouTube.
So on smart televisions, if you have an LG or a Samsung or a Panasonic, they have what's called or a Hisense TV or a Hisense Roku TV. You go to the Opera store inside the smart television and download the HerTube TV app. You'll be able to watch it on your smart television at home.
I will. That's a nice intro you have there too.
Thank you.
On YouTube, and you have that outreach on YouTube also. How many YouTube channels do you have?
2. I have my personal channel that I've been had for a long time, and then I have a HerTube channel. I don't do a lot on I haven't done a lot on YouTube per se. I am a YouTube partner, which is, cool, but I haven't done a lot on YouTube. I put all the content up there, and we still have a ton of content that's not on there. We have about 520 videos from different women who produce their stuff for us.
So it's great. It's a reuse the content, basically put it up on YouTube.
Right.
What is tell a listener what a YouTube partner is?
So a YouTube partner is someone who says, you know what, we're going to work with you. We're going to put content on YouTube. And once we get to a certain amount of views, YouTube will start sending us a check. Now, I got to be honest. I find that doing that is just like having a whole separate business by itself, because you have to drive that traffic to get those views on YouTube. Until you do that, you kind of partner with no pay. So you're putting up content, but until you get to at least 1,000 views or 1,000 subscribers or something,
1,000 subscribers.
1,000 subscribers. Yeah, you don't have any, and I haven't focused on that because I've been so focused on this because I have 77,000 subscribers on my Roku channel. That's huge. Even though they are 15-minute products out there.
How many? Say that again.
77,000 subscribers on my Roku channel. Yeah, right. With no real marketing, just me putting up great content.
Hey, Charles just left. I was going to answer his question. He's coming in and out here. So 77,000, we didn't talk about it, but how do you monetize your business?
So with Roku, you have a couple of different ways you can do it. So we can either do product placement in the show. So if I'm doing a show right now, you just picked up that coffee cup, right? Yeah. This show is going to be somewhere. That could have been somebody's logo on there. That's a product placement.
I used to have logos on my coffee cups, by the way. I used to have Conrad Homes when I was building.
So you got product placement. You have people that may want to sponsor your show, kind of like what you're doing now. But the other thing we do is we partner with an ad network that's specifically for Roku, and they run ads on the show. So when you go to the channel, you're going to see great ads. You're going to see Delta, and you're going to see CarMax and all these different commercials that run right on our channel. And that's the way for us to monetize. And we've been with that company for 2 years. Is the money really, really good? Nah, not really good, but it was a way for us to get some revenue coming back from the content that we were putting out.
Now, how did you get your first content developers on there? I mean, you're reaching out to get other people to develop content.
So this was interesting, right? So I went to a film festival. The reason I started HerTube is because I went to a film festival and there was a gentleman there who was doing distribution. And he was telling the filmmakers, I can get you distribution, but you won't see any money for 15 years. So no royalty payments. So now I had been in self-publishing since it started, like 1999 or something. I knew that you could self-publish and get something back. He was promising them nothing. And I felt like he was really robbing them. So I left that day and I figured I need to do something for filmmakers. Well, when I started building HerTube, I realized, hey, this is a great platform for business people to market. And so I started reaching out to business people versus filmmakers to market their stuff, to get distribution. And people would say stuff like, well, what's the difference between HerTube and YouTube? And I was like, well, we are very focused on women content, reaching that audience of women. And they was like, yeah, but I don't want to pay. I could be on YouTube for free. And I was like, well, how many people watching you on YouTube and how can they find you? So that was a constant back and forth. But what happened was after we realized, okay, that's not really a great audience because they really don't want to leave YouTube because it's free, and they don't really understand HerTube. Lord, who is my audience? Who am I talking to? And he said, talk to people that want to be on TV. And I woke up in the middle of the night like, oh my God, that's a great idea. So the first thing I did was put out a casting call and I had people audition. I had 300 women send me 300 videotapes auditioning.
How did the casting call out?
To the casting call.
And through casting call?
Yeah. So they sent in their videos with bios and pictures. We went through all 300 of them. We picked 32 to interview. And from that 32, we brought on 19.
But I just Googled casting call. How do you send a casting call out?
So one of the best places to put out a casting call is through Backstage. So if you go to backstage.com, that's one that it's been around for a long, long time. It's out of New York, but it's where most actors and actresses go when they're looking for work in the industry. So that's the first place I went. I had been reading Backstage forever because I was in Jersey. I used to go through Penn Station, pick up a Backstage just to read on what was going on. Put my casting call out through Backstage, cost me like $39 or something. And as soon as you put it out, you get all these people who want to be on TV. And that's how I found all the wonderful women who are on the platform.
It's all TV, right? Wow.
Yeah.
They're sending in the work. That's nice. That's an interesting site.
Right.
Wow. So what is next? Before we finish up, and we'll definitely have you back. We'll go into more detail and show what is next. What's over the horizon? You got the doll business going, and that seems like it goes through cycles, and you just keep it going.
Right.
We talked before the show about in 2008, it started going down. I mean, we were really getting going, and things were happening, and then the economy hits. And stuff happens. I think, did somebody just try to come in and I didn't let him in?
I think it was Jonathan.
Well, Jonathan, come on in. Sorry, Jonathan. I didn't mean to do that. I really wasn't ignoring you. I was just really getting into the conversation. Hi, Jonathan.
You were terrible. It's great to meet you, Audrey.
Hi, Jonathan. Great to meet you too.
It was, you covered a lot of stuff. My God.
I think we need to go to the next level in WordPress down the road.
WordPress on TV?
No, she's a power user. She's doing all these things, and down the road, WordPress is getting very powerful. But you're going to launch. You're going to continue to grow, and you're going to try to pull things in. And there's a lot of things. You've got all those subscribers. Do you have an email list? I got it.
Yes, I have an email list that's very segmented. It's segmented by people who sign up from my site. It's segmented from people who I meet out in the public from networking, and it's segmented from people who I was in an accelerator last year. So it's very segmented, and the answer is yes, a very segmented email list.
How do you? I saw your page. How are you collecting? Who are you using to collect your email and manage?
MailChimp.
Oh, MailChimp.
MailChimp.
How do you like MailChimp?
I actually like it. I used to use Constant Contact back before. Yeah. I liked it, but MailChimp is a little bit easier to use. It's a lot less expensive, of course, but I like it. Now. I when I grow up, I probably go to another one. I've heard a lot about Infusionsoft. I have
Infusionsoft, and I there's a lot of things I love about Infusionsoft, but the learning curve is too great. And I'm in the process of pulling back. I've got another friend who's a Fusionsoft trainer developer now, who spent about $10,000 to get there, by the way.
Wow.
To get those certificates. And he just sold his first course for $1,000. But if I get out, I'll buy back in through him as he gets better, because Infusionsoft can suck up a lot of your time.
I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I have heard it is a huge learning curve. So right now, MailChimp does the job for me.
The problem with Infusionsoft is the minimum is, I think, about $230 now. I got $200 a month. And until you get, and I've talked to enough high-end people, all the high-end people like it, but until you get to, I've heard up $10,000, but I think over $3,000 or $4,000 of income for your business, and then getting a mail list of at least 1,000, you have no business being on Infusionsoft. Okay.
Well, I'm not ready to go to that anyway, so I'm cool with MailChimp.
Jonathan, you have questions? What do you suggest for Audrey? Audrey might be a candidate for WP Tonic on the business side if we figure it a partial.
Yeah, I'd love to have her on. I'm putting this link in for you, Audrey.
Okay.
Getdrip.com.
Okay.
And the guy that runs it's famous in the startup community, and he's run this SaaS. And I think it would be a product that would give you a lot more power than MailChimp, but it's a lot less and a lot less complicated than the Infusionsoft.
Okay.
Jonathan, have we ever talked about email on our show, about the process of building lists and all the different products and ways to build a list?
No, it's a good subject, isn't it? Because there's a ton of them, isn't there?
We should spend a whole month just talking about that process. And it's so important, and when none of us do it right initially.
Well, it's hard to do right. That's why. The consistency is. So you got kind of WordPress site, and then you got this Weebly site. You went to the dark side.
I started on the dark side and went over to the other side.
I say nice. I thought you might. You seem a charming lady, so I thought you might go to the light side. Weebly. We did a review on it. It seems great value. One of the things I think folks have got to be aware of it, is it's a bit of an enclosed system. So getting your data out is going to be a bit problematic. And we found that with Wix, which is a similar service based in Israel. They're an enclosed system. So I think you made the right, I would say it, but I honestly believe it. With WordPress, you've got an open system. So you'll never be kind of enclosed in a service that you can't really move, really.
Right, and that was my reason. I had heard people talk about WordPress a lot, and I remember talking to a developer here that was going to build out my corporate site for me, and he said he was using WordPress. And I said, "Oh yeah," he said, "Oh yeah, Huffington Post is built on WordPress," and that's so I was like, "Really? I didn't know that." So when he told me that, I started taking another look at WordPress. So he couldn't do the job I need to get done. So then I went to India to get somebody over there, and that was a total disaster. And so I said, "Okay, well, do what you do best. Sit down, learn how to use a platform, and build the site." And that's what I did.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to know the fundamentals and do a bit of it yourself. So, one of the things you got to understand with a high volume site like the one you just mentioned, that has been highly customized by experienced engineers. But we looked at one site on Saturday, didn't we, Bill? InfoWars, which is another high volume website. I reckon it gets over 500,000 visitors a week, and that's based on WordPress. So I think you made the right, because you got all the benefit of all the plugins, and you can choose your various email providers. Got tons of shopping. Got shopping cart software. You got membership software. You got a ton of choice, haven't you?
It does, and I know moving forward, because we're about to ramp up our marketing site. I'm still going to need an expert to come in and do some things. I think the site moves a little too slow for me.
Well, funny enough, we know a really good WordPress service company that might.
Good.
One thing about InfoWars, though. One thing about InfoWars, looking at InfoWars, just talking about something. They probably have a full-time person, I'm guessing, who's doing marketing and WordPress and all sorts of stuff behind it to do that volume. I just found out about this site for Jonathan last week.
He's got a whole internal development team, Bill, because that really is a very high-volume website.
It's the management team. Well, John Lee Dumas is the other one I track, and
I'll put my opinion. If you want any advice, Audrey, just give us I'll give my email address here.
Okay.
Because definitely someday you're going to be going in that direction. Like
I'm so pleased to see. Right. I'm so pleased to hear that you saw the light, though.
What are you doing with the 70? You got 70. That's a huge number of subscriptions on Roku. 76,000. There's got it.
It's right now we're going to be doing, like, our contract is going to be up with the advertising. Hey, some feedback there. Is that me?
Well, no, you're fine. What's wrong? You're good.
Oh, I hear feedback. Okay.
Don't worry about the feedback. If we can't hear, it's not recording.
Okay, cool.
Let's do something. I'll give you a quick lesson on how long have you been on Blab?
5 episodes.
Just refresh and come back in.
Okay.
Just hit that refresh and come back in.
Okay.
Yeah, Jonathan, Audrey is definitely a go-getter, and she knows how to keep a business.
I don't know if she does it all, do you? I have no idea. She keeps all these balls.
She's got that one business. Let's see. She's a guest, but I'll still let her back in here. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
I don't know. You cope with all this. It sounds like you got about 20 different things going.
I really don't. I have a media company, and that's what I have right now. The dolls, I'm going to be celebrating the 18th year next year. So I don't do that on a full basis. I just kind of, as the time go on.
As we finish up, people didn't listen to the first part of your intro. You're not an overnight success. You've been working on this for a long time, and you started out doing different jobs. You became an entrepreneur. You did a little, was it a multi-level that you started with Avon, right? You did pretty well with Avon, which was a good platform to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then you stepped up. That other story was pretty good, and you made some money in that coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like it.
I didn't like it. It was my job, and I knew I was helping people, but I really didn't like it. It was depressing.
Well,
because you had to help women who didn't know how to read, who didn't know how to write, and trying to get them to understand that they had to stretch out $300 over a month was a lot of work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to survive.
Yeah, to survive.
You did that for about a year, right?
I did it for a year, and I got sick. And right after that, I worked at pharmaceutical, and then I started a doll company.
Yeah. So the pharmaceutical, you worked as a normal job in the pharmaceutical?
I was a data entry specialist, and I did that for 6 months. And by the time my girlfriend came back from maternity leave, I was able to transition out into the doll company.
Yeah. So that's good. And you just one step at a time.
One step at a
and you
time.
had to figure out how to build those dolls too and manufacture them.
Ooh, that's a whole story. Because I had no idea.
It is.
Yeah, we'll have you back on that. Yeah, somehow with your business, we have you on as a business person, maybe with a theme of how you could take your business, pull it together, and create the platform for the next level. How your list are using MailChimp and you're just using the free MailChimp right now?
Yes, I'm just using free MailChimp. When I had Constant Content, I had about 4,000 contacts. And by the time you clean and scrub, it came down to about 1,000. So it didn't make sense to keep paying $60 a month for 1,000. So now I'm rebuilding my list.
Funny enough, Constant Contact is one of the few that I would not recommend anybody to use. But they're very large and they've got a very strong following. But you got a lot of companies, and I don't understand how they do a lot of marketing though, and they also have they have people. I'm looking for the right word. They have people that go out in the community that train and push the product. So I think they've got a very strong marketing system. But I wouldn't. You got. There's a lot more companies that you can look at. If it's just bare email, like the one that the ULR gave you, they're a little bit higher up because they specialize in drip email marketing, and it's a much more sophisticated system. And I think it starts at $49. But there's another one as well that has entered the market that's based on WordPress. It's a SaaS.
Aweber?
No, it's another one. It's called Code something. It's coming to mind. I'm just going to do a search.
ConvertKit.
Oh, ConvertKit.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to look at ConvertKit because
that was it. ConvertKit.
If you look at my yesterday's episode, the one's up right now. By the way, we're going to put the political episode up, and then we're going to put Audrey's up today. So the political will be stacked. But let me hit this. But ConvertKit is the one I'm actually going to look at. I may test that for a month. And it does take time, but ConvertKit I'm looking at. We need to do a show. We need a whole month on this stuff, or at least 2 weeks.
So have you actually looked at that one, actually, Audrey?
I looked at it briefly. I think I'm not there yet with that one either.
It's $50 a month.
Why do you think they're both around $50. So you got to build your list up to get the value. But if you're into the drip side, both of them are a lot cheaper than Infusionsoft. But don't get me wrong, I think I said this to Bill, Infusionsoft is a really great product at the right stage. But then I think unless you're going to bring in a staff member and have them trained, or you're going to bring in a consultant, it's a little bit too time consuming to try and learn it all yourself.
Jonathan, I can build almost everything in there now. But here's one of the problems with Infusionsoft. The API integration, believe it or not, is there's a lot of people that don't have great API integration with Infusionsoft, which is really surprising. The other thing too, and it's on the way, is their HTML form maker sucks. It's like, excuse my language, about 3 or 4 years behind the times for HTML, and it's just not. And their support's not too bad. Their texting support's not bad once you learn how to use it. But overall, and their initial training is disgusting for what they charge, because they're young kids who are trying to learn how to do this stuff. Trying to teach me, an old guy, and they don't know anything about business. So it's really, I've got really mixed feelings. But the high end folks all use it.
Yeah.
and it does take time. So when I come back to it, I'll have more income coming in from the company, and I will probably hire Ron to work in it a little bit.
Well, one of the reasons why they use it, Bill, there's a couple of other products in the higher end. Mm-hmm. My mind's gone blank. Which ones are? They're actually more expensive of that type of product.
Salesforce, I think, is one of the.
Well, not quite, but one is owned by Oracle. The other one, they're actually even more expensive than Infusionsoft. So when people are in the area of needing the kind of general suite of tools which they offer, they look at, and Infusionsoft is one of the cheaper solutions, and that's why they go for it, Bill.
Yeah, cheaper. Yeah, and it's powerful. It's for the medium company, but it is a powerful platform. But it's still
really, I think it's really aimed for the 25, 50, 100 plus employee, not for this. I think there are some really heavy marketers that use it, but normally they've got a team member or a family member or somebody that's just responsible for that, because it's a full-time job in its own right.
Yeah, managing lists.
Yeah. Right, Audrey, I've got to be off, but I really enjoyed the show.
Thank you, Jonathan. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and we're going to cut down the show. And Audrey, we thank you for your time. It's valuable time. And Jonathan, I've got a lot of editing to do here.
Thank you, Bill, so much for having me.
Thanks, everybody. It's Mike. You got anything up there? Anything today? Audrey, I'm going to push you off real fast. Let me push you off since you're a host. I might bring Mike on for a couple of seconds to do a little business, but we'll shut down the recording. So wave goodbye, and then I'll hang up.
Bye, everybody.
Stay in touch. Next time. I'll have your show up hopefully tonight. You'll have your show late tonight. It'll come up. Okay, I'm going to record this close out here. We want to thank Audrey. Audrey's a go-getter. We went a little long today. It's past 10:30. And we will come back the next couple of days. We had some cancellations tomorrow. We had one of our folks who's going to come in from Lifter LMS, Joshua, but there's a big storm hitting the west coast, and a tree fell on his house apparently. So his systems are down. So that's a good excuse. And I've never had this happen. Usually if we get about one cancellation every 2 months, and have another really good cancellation on Wednesday where the person has a cold. But I appreciate the early notice, and we can reschedule those. But I have plenty of stuff that we can put out and do short shows on that we can talk. On this new series, I sort of like this discussion. I redid on Friday, Blab Still Hasn't Worked, and Mike was with me. And we do the weekly scam, which is really about businesses and how to avoid scams. And that show came out real well. I just went back through the content that we had talked about and just sort of recorded it, and it was really condensed, and some good information on Friday about the different scams of gift cards, and that was the main issue: the gift cards and how you can use gift cards, things of that nature. Well, without further ado, I'm going to get off the air. I've got a lot of work to do, tons of work to do, and I've got to do some finances too. I just got a bill. Just got an auto bill, and you got to watch this, for $240 from one of my vendors that I didn't cancel. And what you need to do is get a credit card where you limit what person can cancel, and it's actually on PayPal. So now I got to go fight that battle. Got to go fight Infusionsoft folks to look at transferring out of this. Take care. Talk to you later.